Darrell, would you estimate for these fellas, I understand that you claimed 88 hours of time while you were gone for this 11 days. Do you think you worked more or less actual work time in transit, attending conferences, doing the things that the colonels ordered you to do? Did you think you worked more or less than 88 hours?
I worked way more than 88 hours.
Okay. And did you have any clue or ever think that you would get dinged, and when I'm talking about dinged by $15,000 a year for claiming more hours than, or claiming less hours than you worked?
I'm still confused about that. I was told that I didn't correctly reflect my time, which means if I started at 6, I should start putting my time at 6 in the morning. If I ended at 11 o'clock at night, I should put that on my time sheet and I guess put in the comment section how many hours I worked and claim the K time over my regular 8 hours.
If that's the way this administration wants you to do it, are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Was that the way you did it under the prior administration?
I was never asked to do it that way, but now I know, and I was just the way I do my time sheet.
When you read, or when you learned about Colonel Edmondson's statement to the news media on February 18th to the effect that they were investigating you, you were being demoted or removed from your position in internal affairs, and that there was a possibility of disciplinary action. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
When you learned all that, did you have any doubt in your mind that you won the investigation?
Pretty much, yes. And I started receiving phone calls saying, you've been thrown under the bus, you're going to be the scapegoat for this whole deal. Well, the whole group of us would be, and especially me being the most rankingest guy.
You should have been read your rights?
Yes.
Any question in your mind about that? The nature, could you describe the nature of the questions that were asked to you and whether or not you felt that you were being interrogated?
I don't think I would have chosen the word interrogated, but yes, the question were, about the trip. And I think the answer, that the question came up, and I said, well, no, it's an inquiry. And so, from learning from the transition packet,
Did you buy that inquiry business?
Well, I'd never heard of it. Just from the packet, I read about an actual investigation.
An actual investigation starts when there is questioning with the potential for disciplinary action. Is that right?
Right.
Is that what you understood it
Yes.
to be? Is that what happened on the 20th?
No.
What happened on the 20th?
They just, I was in and they told me that it was an inquiry that the colonel wanted to take place, and he wanted to ask me some specific questions about the trip.
Did you believe you were being questioned with a possibility, based on what he had said, that you would be disciplined?
Yes. Well, possibility.
Did you nevertheless try and cooperate?
I cooperated.
Did you play golf that morning?
Yes.
You brought your golf gloves with you?
No, sir.
Why did you go play golf?
I never intended to play golf during this conference, but the night before, I guess Colonel Edmondson was talking to some guys from Motorola, and I was given an opportunity to go play and network with them. At the time, Motorola and, as I understood, Taser were competing for a contract.
Who instructed you to go play golf with them?
Colonel Edmondson.
Did you take that as a suggestion or as a directive?
Suggestion. As a working network, a suggestion. I could have turned it down, done other things, but I had the idea that I would go, it would still be working, networking with these guys.
Were all of your expenses approved by Colonel Dupree?
Yes.
Were all of your time approved by Colonel Edmondson?
Yes.
Was your court card approved by Colonel Edmondson?
Yes.
Did you knowingly, intentionally do anything wrong in conjunction with your attendance at this conference in San Diego?
No, never known. I know a lot of stuff now, but and I think everybody has benefited from some of the mistakes we made on this trip. Everybody I asked, nobody had knowledge of taking the most direct route. Nobody had knowledge that, I mean, I didn't know I had to claim every hour and I would get punished for it.
Did you ever get trained in the state travel guide, sir?
No,
When you were hired, were you trained?
no,
The state travel guide suggests that you should be, get a retrainer each year. Did you ever get a retrainer in the 20-some odd years you've been there?
no,
You know anybody that's been trained in the state travel guide?
no.
Now let me take you to another area. We have this business about a person referred to as your friend, exchanging some emails.
Yes,
Did you exchange emails with a lady friend?
yes.
Okay. What would you tell us about that?
It's been a friend for quite some time. I have my work email on my personal phone, and I do get a stipend every month so I can get emails and do work from my phone. At the time, I never knew any email I sent to her went from my default account, which was my work email, and didn't even know until after. I was never told of this. I was never asked about it in the investigation. I found out about these emails with my letter of discipline. My lauderdale letter. It's the first time I found out about it.
Wasn't mentioned in internal affairs, was it?
Never.
Apparently the lady sent you an email and said something about no panties Sunday or something like that. Did you send that to her or did she send it to you?
It was sent to me.
Did you tell her to send such like that?
No, sir.
Did you later have a discussion with her and tell her not to do that again?
Yes.
After it was sent, could you do anything about it?
No, I didn't forward it. I deleted it, and I thought it was it.
And there's another email, a picture of yourself with a cactus. Do you recall that?
Yes.
That was
And,
mentioned.
you know, and we talk about conduct unbecoming, if that was something that I was doing in the public and sending to everybody, yes, I thought that was a personal, private email from my personal account. I was never, and I take full responsibility for it. I made a mistake, but it was never my intention to embarrass the department or myself. It was a joke.
You think that email worth $15,000 a year?
Over the years, it's been a lot worse. If I had intentionally done that, I'd gone to a site intentionally, yes, but no, this was an honest mistake sent from the wrong email address. This was new to me. I'd never been through anything like this, and we had 7 days to respond. And I did, and I was very nervous about it. And you know, after I did that, I thought of a lot of things that I could have put in that response that I did, and thought I would get an opportunity to speak to him face to face and explain some things that may have.
Did you rely on his statement to you that you'd have that opportunity?
Yes.
To explain to him?
Yes,
And you know, the Colonel spoke eloquently on Friday about no remorse, about not expressing any sorrow for what you did. If you could have spoken to the Colonel, you think you could have explained to him where you coming from, Darrell?
I felt like I could have explained a lot of things, you know, and I would have admitted to any wrongs that I've done, because I would, you know, admit when I'm wrong. But it was never intentional. And then there were some things I had questions on, and maybe I would have shed some light on a few things.
Did you get that opportunity?
No,
You believe you deserve what you got?
no, not at all. I can tell you, the whole time I was going through this investigation, the only thing I got, at that time, Captain McClendon, oh, I have an issue with your time sheet, nothing major, blah, blah, blah. Every time I would see him, he'd tell me, keep your head up, you're good. Keep your head up, you're gonna be okay. And the day I got my mail letter with the intent to demote me, it was a shock. It really was.
After you read your rights on the dates that you were interviewed at the Internal Affairs Office, did you ever ask for an attorney?
No.
Wouldn't you agree that once you became aware of the fact that these emails were going out into the department email, you should be paying more close attention to make sure it didn't continue to happen?
Yes.
Do you agree that as the highest ranking trooper in that vehicle, you had a responsibility to make sure that everyone was adhering to state travel policies and state police regulations?
I know now, when I took this assignment to go there, I wasn't going there with a rank. I was told to help them drive. Our assignment was to get there.
When it came to the route that was taken, you didn't personally obtain any approval to take that, what we're calling the northern route, did you?
No.
And you didn't obtain any approval to stay in the Grand Canyon or Las Vegas, did you?
No.
Were there occasions when there were conversations with Colonel Edmondson, Lieutenant Colonel Dupree, maybe even others, that were on the speakerphone in the vehicle while you were traveling?
Yes.
Did you feel that you were in a position to direct anything when the instructions were coming from the colonel and the lieutenant colonel?
Not at all. When I got to Baton Rouge that morning, I went to my office to get some stuff to load up I want to take with me. Rodney was having breakfast with the colonel, Rodney and his wife. We later talked. We meet behind the gym, and Rodney told me about the conversation with the colonel and that he suggested we take this route, which is now called the Northern Route. And he pointed out some things the colonel talked about and asked me if I had a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it, but the Hoover Dam, the Grand Canyon, and Las Vegas was never on my bucket list. But that's what they wanted to do. The colonel approved it. I said, okay.
Well, my question is, did you later hear discussions where it became clear, in fact, the colonel had approved it?
He approved it, and you know, sometimes Rodney would put him on speaker because he wanted to talk to everybody. Are you having fun? Yes. And how's everything going? Where are you going from here? We heard all this conversation. I saw some of the text messages. There was no doubt in my mind that I was doing anything wrong. I heard the conversations. I saw the text messages. And at the time, he was my immediate supervisor. But why he wasn't talking to me, I don't know.
Well, if you were acting as the person in charge, wouldn't you expect you to then talk to you?
Talk to me, yes.
Were you acting as the person in charge?
No.
Commend you for just claiming 8 hours when you earned more than that. But you could claim Cape time, right? You could have earned Cape time on the trip.
Yes.
Even if you had 480, you could have earned it because we're in October. So you could have earned it all the way through June, and then you would have had to look at your time to see what hours you needed to take to stay below the 480, correct?
Correct.
So you could have claimed it, but you chose
could have.
not to.
Let me ask you a specific question. What mistakes were made on the trip?
I guess when I made that statement, I said at the time I didn't think I was doing anything wrong.
Okay.
But I know coming back and knowing what the new administration wants, that it was wrong.
What was wrong? What was wrong?
The way I claim my time. I never thought that was a problem. It was never a problem before, but now I realize it's wrong. So I don't do it that way anymore. My expense account, I had never been on a 3-day trip. Realizing there was different tiers that I had to change, that was unintentional. But when it was brought to my attention, it was changed. That's what we do. It wasn't caught before by my supervisor, so it was approved. But when it was brought to my attention, it was changed. And I know that if I would go on a trip, and I'm never going on another trip, that if I would have to check and I would adjust my tiers. I never knew I had to do that. I should have known, but now that I think about it, but I know now. And like I said before, a lot of people are going to benefit from the mistakes we made. So for me to say I didn't do anything wrong, I take that back. I did certain things wrong. But I did, knowingly at the time, I didn't know I was doing anything wrong.
Sure. Let me be clear. So by the time you got into San Diego, you had missed nothing that you were registered for.
Right.
Okay. At the end of the day, you didn't claim any overtime that you had to repay.
No.